whether you're listening to this show or any show, take the 45 seconds to go rate and review that show. Leave a few kind words or constructive criticism on whatever podcast you're consuming. It means so much to us, those creating the content, number one, and number two, it helps the shows get discovered and in front of more eyes.
Get back to that. That whole thing is how you divide your personas is interesting to me because I've been watching a lot of ego death YouTube rabbit holes and things like that. Hey, good morning, Reena. So
I'm starting to look human again after my microneedle yesterday.
Do you know what microneedling is, Brian? We've been talking about it a little bit. It's like a tattoo without the ink, but Reena got some from a friend of hers yesterday.
Just get the ink.
Nice, right. Just go ahead and put the ink in the gun.
No, and it's my viewpoint is I would hate to lose a customer because they don't agree with my political opinion.
Right.
And so why would I use a social media, a very public forum, to share my political opinion?
Yeah, I tend to feel the same way. But here's why I ask that, because I've always felt exactly that way. I compartmentalize things. I have like a crazy loudmouth, political account. Not my face. I have a business account. I work in Square Industries where the people don't know anything about my other lives. But the more I go on, I'm starting to think that people who are able to mash all that together and just be one person, that is the authenticity I think sells. But then it goes back to my other real self. It's like, I don't care about money that much. I'm like, whatever, just wander the planet like Kung Fu or some shit. So what do you think about that idea of mashing all your things like, nope, this is just me. Like, hey, work, fuck you, this is how I am. Hey, church, this is really how I am the rest of the week. Like, can you really become that person? What are your thoughts on that?
I think you absolutely can, but you need to be cognizant and aware, and you're going to take some licks. You're going to lose business. You're going to lose friendships. You're going to, and that's the reality. I had a customer call me up and say, look, we don't want you producing this show, another customer's show, because of what they're talking about on their show. And I said, well, I'm sorry. Let me see if you have any open invoices. Nope, you don't. Good luck finding a new producer.
Yeah, or conversely, you can send them the bill from the other show. It's like, well, if you'd like to cover that cash I'm losing, go ahead. Yeah. That's a weird ask, dude, for somebody to say, I'll say I go to any other company providing a service or product. Say it's a restaurant. I don't want you serving that wedding cake to that couple. It almost sounds like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like, first off, I love podcasting. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, it's one of the last bastions of free speech.
Yeah, straight up.
We have one rule, no hate speech, because it's illegal in the U.S.
Yeah.
And I never niche down. I don't do just business shows. I don't do just whatever shows. I'm here to help you tell your story. And I don't care what that story is. I don't care if my employees, they're like, dude, I can't edit this guy anymore. He's an asshat. I totally get it. I'll take him on. And I edit his show. And yes, he's an asshat. But it's his story to tell. Who am I to judge that? Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely not going to have a customer dictate to whom I can serve and not serve. So I lost some money, and they can go on and do their own thing. But it's tricky with social media and this cancel culture. And on one hand, I love it. I love it when people bring to light things that I don't agree with, and I'm reserved, and I'm not going to share politics, religion, anything like that, and I'm pretty upfront having conversations.
Sure. Yeah.
I was raised in a very strict Mormon home.
No kidding. In Utah or a different state?
Here in California.
Wild.
And I am as far from it. My family members still extremely active, and I'm like,
yeah, same.
Wait a minute.
Just not for you.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Not
my dad's bro split when we were really young and went to the church. They're in Utah.
Yeah.
Don't really talk to them much. Of all of the kids, most of them discovered pot and heavy metal sometime around 16, the ones my age. And then I think about 4 are still hardcore in the church. Their kids are missionaries, everything. But, 2 are hippies wandering America, smoking pot and doing mushrooms. So,
right.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. religion or any kind of construct isn't for everybody. And a lot of times people find something or experience some kind of thing in life that causes them to break free. What caused you to break free, dude? If you were born and raised as a Mormon or whatever, let's just say a conservative environment, what caused you to see the rest of the universe in a different light like that?
You want to know, this is going to sound silly.
No, man, this is going to sound awesome.
And I remember this conversation. I remember the room. I remember that god-awful green couch that we had in our living room. And I said, Dad, how come Mormons don't drink? How come we don't drink alcohol when alcohol is referenced in the Bible? And it was consumed in the Bible. And he goes, oh, wine was different back then. There was no alcohol. It was like grape juice. And I went, oh, okay. But years later, I came back. My father just lied to me.
Yeah, those are pretty quick. He's pretty quick on his feet, though. I'm like, that's pretty quick for a kid's answer. I'm like, okay, I'll chew on that for 6 or 7 years.
But when you read scripture and you hear the drunkard, and it's like, wait a minute, my dad lied to me.
Yeah, how did he become drunk on grape juice? Something doesn't make. Okay, so you're just starting to see the cracks, like in Santa Claus or wrestling or any other thing. Yeah. Okay.
So that was one point. I have a foster sister who became pregnant out of wedlock, and the church excommunicated her.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. They're pretty cool people, except for certain things they're very hard line about, and that's one of them.
And I said, the scripture you tell me to live by says forgive 7 times 7 times 70. But you're booting her? And she's my family. She was my adopted sister's best friend. She was always at the house. She was like a sister. And then some unfortunate things happened in her life, and she came to live with us her last 2 years of high school. And when this happened, I was like, who are you? No. And that moment was when I went, no, screw you guys. You're messing with my family now. You're preaching one thing and you're doing another. F you.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what happened to me. I was that girl, except I'm a boy. But no, I was kicked out. The church, my parents kicked me out. I was 14. I had nowhere to go. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? You guys been preaching kindness and take in the stranger, all this stuff all these years. And like, I'm your blood and I have nowhere to go. I never went back. I'm like, well, so it took me a long time to reconcile that kind of a relationship. But I think it was because of that, maybe just getting back to the original division of avatars in your life. I think that's why I'm so paranoid of, just being hammered by one thing. But my worst fear is this. Check it out. So what if you become authentic? What if you're able to squish it all together and then that is the thing that gets rejected? Or that's the thing that gets canceled? Then you're really screwed. Because at least this way, if somebody doesn't like something I posted in my political thing, I could just clip it. I could just prune it right off my life, shut down the accounts. Okay, fine, I'll learn a lesson. But if you merge all of your different avatars into one as an authentic, truly authentic, like you think you're authentic, you're not from the Matrix, so your authenticity is whatever it's glommed onto you, and you're like, okay, I really am being me. I told my boss to fuck you. I told all of us everything's gonna be cool, and then that's cool for a minute until you're actually whatever your authentic self says something out of line by today's culture, and now your authentic self gets thrown in the trash. That's kind of my bigger fear of being truly authentic in that sense. Like I sound authentic, but this is just, I tell people a lot, this is the mech suit I jumped into today. I jumped into this John suit today. When I'm done with here, I'd probably go do some, nadir yoga, lay on the ground and astral plane out of the existence and wonder like, who's that asshole I just went on the podcast? And that was this one. So go ahead, sorry.
You know what's interesting about that? I can honestly say there's been times in my life where I was truly authentic. In the Marine Corps.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a culture nobody can pretend to understand unless you've lived it.
And I think there's part of that is they stripped you down first. And I think that's how you find your true self. Then they probably added a bunch of shit. But go on, tell us about your experience in the Corps. That's wild.
Oh, dude. People are like, thank you for your service. I'm like, thank you. You paid me to hike camp and shoot guns. That was the coolest.
Rad. Yeah.
And I can't find any place in America where I can pay money to go blow crap up. It was
straight up.
But we're all a little twisted. You can't I mean, hiking, camping, shooting guns. Yeah, it's on a totally different scale. When you're hiking for 30 miles with 70 pounds on your back, it's not this leisurely hike in the park.
No,
You know,
by no means. Yeah, of course. I don't think you're diminishing it at all.
I,
Just making a little light.
love the lifestyle. I got out of the Corps when Clinton was in office, and he was
Sending
stripping
people to Bosnia and all that was going off.
You know, this is one thing I share often. You don't join the Marine Corps not to go fight. You know, that's just that's
You assume like, I hope that might be part of the thing. Yeah.
right. And when I'm in boot camp, Panama happens. I'm in Alaska, the first Gulf War kicks off. And I'm, stationed in Alaska. When Somalia is kicking off, we're shipping to Japan. And I'm like, 4 years. And then when it came time to re-enlist, it's like, oh, you can be a computer operator or a clerk. I couldn't even re-enlist for the infantry. And I'm like,
Motherfucker, I want to go shoot things.
yeah, I didn't join the fucking Marine Corps to sit behind a,
No, I'm
a,
just
a
joking.
desk with a keyboard in front of me, and now I do it with a microphone. But I elected to get out of the Marine Corps. And it was, I miss my brothers.
Camaraderie, dude, community. Yeah.
That's exactly what my husband says. He says that he's never had brotherhood like that.
No. And just the stupid crap. People, what's the Marine Corps like? I swept the desert. I painted grass green for a parade in the middle of the desert because the
Wild.
general wanted green grass. You do painting white rocks white and making them say Echo 27. It's like you do some of the stupidest crap, but you're doing it with your brothers, and it's a bitch fest,
Yeah.
And we all sit there and complain with each other. But no, I mean, my father was a Marine, my brother-in-law. I mean, there's so much generational Marine Corps, and my dad's like, join the Air Force, you're gonna have a better life. I'm like, you were a Marine, I'm gonna be a Marine. There wasn't an option. The bishop actually came to me. His name was Larry Bird, no joke.
Nice.
Brian, we're gonna play a one-on-one game. If I win, you're going on a mission. If you win, you can join the Marine Corps with my blessing. I'm like, I don't need your blessing or your basketball, And I was already pretty jack at that time anyway. A white guy named Larry Bird wanted to play one-on-one basketball, and he was a good ball player.
Nice.
But no, I enjoyed my time in the Corps. I do. And we still get together on a Zoom call every once in a while, the guys that serve together in 2-7, to include some of the officer corps, which is pretty cool. It's interesting to learn their perspective of the Marine Corps and trying to manage us, because we were pretty much out of control.
Dude, I could not imagine. Because, I think I've seen run into teachers maybe at class reunions or something. And by the time a class reunion happens, they're barely alive anymore, but the age difference doesn't seem as big. And they're like, oh, yeah, you really were an asshole. I'm like, oh, yeah, I thought I was an asshole. I apologize for that one time. They're like, I remember that. So, yeah, it's interesting that you fall back on those memories, especially when. So, not to get too personal, but do you have a partner now? Do you live with somebody? Did you end up having a family or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually have a daughter with my first wife.
Oh, great.
I'm currently married, not to the first wife.
Sure. That sounds nice. You got a kid, got a wife?
Yeah, I mean, and she's 34 now. She's a nurse practitioner, emphasis on women's health. She's traveling. She's in South Dakota right now. She jumps travel
Interesting.
contract.
Oh, yeah.
I raised her to be independent, adventurous, outdoorsy, and it saddens me that she's not local. But
she'll be back, dude, eventually.
it excites me that she's out exploring this world and living life. And doing good, helping women with whatever issues they're having.
Women
she's
stuff,
a labor
yeah.
and delivery unit right now.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, did you ever? This came across yesterday when I was talking to Dave Jackson. Have you ever played in a band?
I have, but it was so being in the home I was in, when you turned 8, you had to start to play a musical instrument.
Oh, that's
And I didn't
lovely. Wait, is this a Mormon thing?
It's not a Mormon thing. It was just,
Is this your family tradition or something?
I honestly think it was my mom. This is an hour I don't have to deal with him.
Yeah, no, good for her.
So you're going to play something.
Yeah.
And I mean, all my sisters are older and they had to do the same thing. So
Yeah.
it was like, and I was dreading it. And I'm like, I haven't decided yet. My dad came to me with a flippin' accordion. You're not making a decision. I've made it for you. So I'm the only geek on the block playing the accordion. I had to play it for a year, and they wouldn't let me give it up.
A year, so you still know how to play it. You can't unlearn that.
Oh, dude, I hated it. Dude, and I had to go to the recitals and compete.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think that's an age thing. That's torture. What was worse, recitals or boot camp?
Recitals.
Dude, that's funny.
That year came up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to switch instruments. So like, great. What do you want to play next? Drums.
Yeah, I'm a drummer, dude. I've been a drummer since about that age. It was the same thing. My mom sent me to summer school back when it was elective. And I went to, I think, like an 8-week, 10-week. I don't know. It was there long. Each week we did a different instrument. And we did flute. Then we did violin. Then we did trombone, woodwinds, all the fucking thing. And then finally, like week 10, they're like, this week we're doing drums. I'm like, why didn't we do drums from week 1 for all of the weeks? This is ridiculous. That's super funny.
You know what's interesting? When I went to junior high, they had a band program.
Yeah,
so
same.
I picked up the trumpet, and I love the horn.
That's where my guitar player back then in junior high came from. I stole the trombone player from our symphonic band.
You know, I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue band when I went to high school because, you know, they were the band geeks.
Band geeks, right. No, that's when we bailed too.
Yeah, so I joined a city marching band that competed.
Oh, that's a little more dope, dude. That's pretty hip.
And I did it to kind of experience that. And I wanted to be on the drum line.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, single snare, this will be cool, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? You can read music? You're in the horn section. I'm like, I'm not paying you money to be in the horn section. I'm paying you money because I want to be on the drum line. They're like, well, sorry, we need horns. I'm like, I'm out. You know, and then I wish I would have played in band in high school because I miss music, man. I really do.
It's again, that community. I was the feral kid. Band became my community. But so at whatever, 8th grade, like you said, we moved to 9th grade. Band was no longer cool. You were now a band geek. Well, that summer we grew our hair out and got spandex pants and Converse and leather jackets. So we said, well, we're going to still play. So when air bands came up or school talent show, we had a real band. So that was awesome. High school was the funnest years, but we lived in a town called Concord, California, and they were the home of the Concord Blue Devils, who are like world champion drumline. So as a cool, hip rock band drummer kid, I always knew that those line drummers actually knew how to play. That is something else. Watching those guys. Do you ever see that movie Drumline, Reena? With Nick?
No.
It's pretty cool. It's a whole different culture. But if you look up DCI, whatever, contest challenge on YouTube, DCI is Drum Corps International. It's pretty neat. So anyway, I brought that whole thing up about musicians because I think middle-aged folks like us, especially dudes who used to have bands, I think podcasting is the new band. We can buy gear, we can hang out, we can jam. Like, we're literally jamming, right? It's almost as if we sat down in a room and said, hey, do you know, like, Smoke on the Water or whatever? And someone just starts picking up a song they know, and you see, hey, that guy's in tune. That guy turns his bass up the right volume. That guy's not playing too fast. So I always appreciate when we find true podcasters who are podcasters first and other things second. This was another topic we covered the other day. So many people have a podcast, like musicians and comedians and actors and late night TV shows, right? But I'm like, well, they're not podcasters. They don't care. They don't love it. Like, they would go back to their TV show or their band or whatever if given a choice. They're only settling for a podcast. Whereas I think people like us, we just like podcasting, right? So there's a big difference between being a podcaster and having a podcast, right?
And you know what? We've grown. And Reena, I want to hear your opinion on this. At this stage, having that band experience gives us, in my opinion, a different ear. We hear things that I don't think the average person would, number one, and we care. But number two, I am more concerned with a story arc and a storyline. Like, we're jamming right now. If I were to edit this, I'm going to listen in totality and go, that doesn't support the story I want to share from this experience. So it would be on. And I would edit a story together, which is just, and when you do it right and you capture that attention, and when people are leaning into the ear pods, or, you know, it's like, yes, I accomplished that. And it's hard and it takes time, and you know, I've had some hosts where I'm like, can I make a recommendation? I have this storytelling coach. I would love for you to work with him a little bit. And they come back so strong.
Ooh,
I've
nice.
had some hosts, if you're doing a live show or an interview show,
Yeah.
I recommend that they find a local improv troupe and go get
Always.
a little bit of improv training. And when
Yes,
you
and.
come understanding yes and,
Oh my
that
gosh.
changes interviews.
I just
So
wish everyone in my life took an improv class once, because I am hyper. I like throwing out the random ideas, and all I get is, nah, but. I'm like, where's the yes and? I want some yes and. Help me out here. Let's climb a tree together or something. Yeah, but you're right. People
I
need a
can
little.
yes and that, and I want to add that it's almost like picking band members. You're kind of like, what style of music do you like?
Yeah.
Who are like your musical inspirations? And like when you hear someone sing, or like when I hear someone sing, I'm like, oh my God, I could sing the harmony to that.
I fit
I
with
could
that.
see myself singing with them. Or, wow, she has a really powerful voice, but I can tell she's like a front man, and maybe that would clash with me.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you hit on it a second ago too, as well, Brian. It kind of reminded me of when you hit a hook in a song, right? Because telling the story arc, it's kind of like in a podcast, editing a single episode. When I do it often, I start to find interesting parts that repeat. So in that essence, we recorded the jam session, and then I'm like, hey, there's a couple bars in here that would make a great song, you guys. Bringing those back, and eventually you have a nice, well put together song. So I haven't achieved that with this podcast particularly, but I hear what you're saying, and that is kind of the same building blocks as music. Putting the podcast together, building the hooks. I just brought up a couple things that I mentioned on the podcast with David, and then a couple weeks ago. So in a way, I'm like, almost like a comedian, like putting some bits together so that they repeat. So over time, I don't know what, have no intentions, but what do people then write a book or go on speaking tours? Because they got their 20 bits now, and instead of doing a 15-minute set of comedy, you're now a speaker, or like I said, I don't have any aspirations to speak like that, but I always try to break things down to like systems. I'm like, what are we doing good? What can be done better? But yeah, so I always see the music analogies, which but that was my loose scientific survey. I'm like, is every middle-aged white guy podcaster an ex-band member? Are we just jamming online because it's cheaper and faster?
That needs to be a Twitter poll.
Yeah, for sure. I love Twitter polls.
I think I should qualify it, though. If you are a middle-aged white guy podcaster, were you in a band between 1985 and 1995?
The question should be, what was the name of your band?
Oh, straight up. We'll paint them right into that corner. Yeah. And that would be fun, too, because then people that weren't even in bands will start replying with dumb names, making fun of us.
Absolutely.
I love that. Absolutely. I love that. So, dude, speaking of podcasts, let's talk about feed drops. And before we get to feed drops, because I want to let you talk a lot, you have a last name that's also a famous voice, like, was it Bob Colburn? You ever heard of that guy? No. He used to do a thing in L.A. like, this is Rockline with Bob Colburn. Like late night, like he would do whole like a King Biscuit Flower Hour kind of voices. He passed maybe 10 years ago, but up until he was like when I was a rocker trying to be in a band, I always heard that voice is so smooth. This is Bob Colburn. And it's like a big rock and roll kind of station guy in L.A., maybe KTL, or I can't remember the call letters, but check out Bob Colburn when you get, I think he has the L in his name too. Anyway.
I will. Funny thing is, there's a Brian Colburn who's a musician out of Massachusetts-ish, East Coast, New England, and my family hails from New England, both mom and dad's side. And I went, I wonder if you're a cousin. So I actually reached out to him. I'm like, dude, we don't know each other, but we need to have a conversation, you know?
I was going to have a podcast once of just people with my same name.
I Googled my name too. I'm like, hey, Reena Friedman, what? There's another
them on
one?
Facebook, yeah.
This is something I encourage every podcaster to do. Set up a Google alert for your name, your podcast title. I'll find that somebody mentioned a show where every single show we produce, I have Google alerts set for.
Oh, that's smart, dude. Yeah, good idea.
Us, I'm like, oh, great. I can jump on that bandwagon and help facilitate the conversation and hopefully grow their show.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing is, it's like Brian Colburn, and I click on it, obituary.
Oh no.
I died.
Obituary. Like, mine's going to be up there one day, and I won't be here to click on it.
And I read them too. I get like what is it? My Indian tribe newspaper, right? And Indian tribes are all very homey. It's like the 70s newspapers. So you look at the back 2 pages, it's all obituaries. And I'm not laughing at death or dying. Well, maybe I am. It's not anybody's particular trauma. But when I read the obituaries, I'm like, this is sad. This is the saddest shit ever. Because just people live and don't really do anything, and then they die. So I'm like, man. I'm like, what would my obituary say? I'm like, this jackass here, let me tell you. And that just goes on.
On the same theme,
Yeah.
When I was trying to put the Marine Corps band back together to get a quarterly Zoom call going.
Oh, you're such an organizer, dude.
I set up Google Alerts for the guys.
Right.
And I get a pop on one of them, really good friend.
Holy
and it was
moly,
an obituary. And I went, fucking Drew's gone, man.
For real? Was it real?
It was real.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry for your loss.
And my daughter knows him. And I mean, it was just, he was a truck driver.
Yeah, over-the-road truck drivers, they die like earliest. This is one of the worst occupations out there, apparently. I was surprised because I was like, that sounds fun. And then I read the average age of death is like 62.
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know
apparently,
that.
it's a combo of just sitting and bad food on the road or something. Those two, but the just sitting apparently will. I'm sorry, dude. That's fucked up. But so you had Google Alerts set, and you're organizing a quarterly?
A quarterly.
That's amazing. Who does that? Everyone thinks I think of doing that all the time. I'm like, I wish I could talk to the old boys from my little crew, my hacky sack crew at whatever. And I see them all right there on Facebook posting the same old random shit. I'm like, why don't we all intentionally get together? Like reminisce. Like, I need some clarity on some things I can't believe actually happened. Can you guys tell me if this happened? Vice versa.
Do you remember it the same way?
Well, no, exactly. So we brought up like organizing again, and I caught this because I noticed on the trailer of one of your podcasts on Feed Drops. I was watching them on YouTube, so I got the visuals. But I also noticed you put a card up there for your community. So I've heard a couple of times you had a strong bond with the men in your troop in the Marines.
Absolutely.
You're organizing quarterly meetups with these same guys. Yeah. You're pulling podcasters together in a fair, level way by scoring podcasts on objective criteria. Mm-hmm. And now I'm really curious about what your community is, and can we help you build it, like just by talking about it?
So Feed Drops was an idea of Lynn's Florin, who started Growth Network Podcast in LA. And we did 2 seasons, and it was just us listening to shows and coming together and talking about them. And I've got a cool goth story, but we'll save that for the end.
Awesome.
Lynn's had some family issues come up, had to relocate, so it went into this 2-year hiatus. I had just wrapped up a 20-episode professional networking podcast, kind of like a how-to for a local college that I have interns come in from. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And I'm looking around at this inventory. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring Feed Drops back. So I shoot Lynn's a note. He's a road manager for a heavy metal band right now.
Can you tell us which one?
Oh.
If you don't know, it's fair. I'm in the metal. I'm a metalhead, so I'm like, yeah. Metal.
I'll make sure you get it. But he's like, dude, I don't have time. I'm like, look, this is what I'm going to do. Instead of this kumbaya love fest that seems to be rampant in the podcast community, I want to do something that's constructive. And I'm going to rank across a 10 criteria scale and quantify with numbers my opinion. Take it, leave it, get mad at it. This is my opinion of your show. Mm-hmm. And twofold. Number one, if they score less than 7.0, I am not doing an episode. I'm not here to tear anybody down.
That's interesting.
I'm sending them my findings.
Yeah.
And they can use it as constructive criticism or not.
That's really fair. That's almost as if Siskel and Ebert were like all thumbs up.
Well, I mean, even the shows that do score 7 or above, there's still some points. Nobody has scored a perfect 10 yet. And
I was listening to your scoring system. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. That's reasonable. Like, and it was a fair range, like you said. But I didn't really catch that nobody was under 7.
nobody.
So
I didn't catch that either.
Yeah,
that
that's
could be the
interesting.
title.
Because I don't want to tear anybody down. You know, I mean, we all know as podcasters, we put endless hours, blood, sweat, tears, thought, money into this. And I just don't want to come in and crap on somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I truly don't.
Either
So
way,
I
right.
send them the report, do with it what you want. If they're 7 or above, I'm gonna do an episode and share my findings with the world. Again, twofold. A podcaster can listen to my episode, listen to the episode I reviewed and go, fair, or wow, I do that too. I can improve.
Yeah. I like shows like that because both. I'm also an antagonist or a contrarian or whatever you want to say. So if I hear a trend of things that everyone loves and I think that's fucking stupid, I hate that, I'm going to try, but then I have to prove to myself, like, well, let me go try what the opposite is and see if will that work? Big shot?
Yeah.
Go try. Go see put your money where your mouth is. So I appreciate review shows like that. And plus, a lot of things you talk about, you kind of restate the obvious that people should definitely keep hearing, like quality of audio. But you don't, doesn't sound like you're restating the obvious because it's just relative to that show. But every time you mention the quality of audio. So that's a big one. It's funny too, because the quality of audio is relative. As long as it's good enough. Like, this isn't perfect. This sounds fine. You know what I mean? Right. As long as it doesn't sound like trash, I guess. Yeah, go ahead. Go.
That's Feed Drops the show. And then I wanted to do something more, so I do Feed Drops Monthly, which is a Substack newsletter where we get in depth. And starting August 1st, I have contributing authors writing as well, and they all own podcast production companies.
Beautiful.
So it's not just the Kool-Aid of Brian. It's, you can think I'm an asshole, but like Mike and work with Mike. Cool. Your podcast is getting better. That's all I care about. The rising tide raises all ships. If 10% of the podcasts out there got 10% better quarter after quarter,
think about that.
What would the industry be like at that point?
Yeah.
And not that I'm the guy that's going to magically make everybody better, but I want to provide avenues to where they can. So they can consume written content, and the podcast is there as well, but pull some takeaways to improve their show. And then I started Feed Drops Plus, a community. It's on the Skylar Network, which is a brand new network being built. But it's like I have my own Zoom, if you will. It's not Zoom, but it's.
No, we get it.
I get to upload the image and make it look cool, so it looks like a podcast stage, and it's really cool.
How do you spell Skylar, dude? Because we like talking about this kind of tech.
Yeah, it's Skyler.
Okay, so
Skyler.network.
If you got that ready, we'll put links in the show notes for this one for sure. Okay, so you've got a mailing list, Substack. That's cool. Are you big on email lists? It sounds like you are, as opposed to Facebook groups or whatever.
So many podcasters say, I'm going to create a piece of audio and people are going to listen to it. There are podcasters who would rather read an article.
I love reading. It's way faster than listening to somebody ramble on.
Dude, I thank God we can speed some podcasts up.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thank God for transcript notes. Like, I don't have to listen to James Cridland's voice anymore. I just read his description. I'm like, done. Good. Sorry, James. I'm just playing.
Yes. And then some people need more community. The community's free to join, but there's some paid groups within the community.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, I'm kind of taking it one step farther here with this group, and it's brand new. I haven't even really publicized it yet.
So you're messing with the tools in Skylar, it sounds like, right? Some of the functions?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, sweet.
Because some people need their hands held a little more than others.
Oh, for sure. A lot. Some people need it held the whole way. Incredibly, a lot of help. But that's okay. I mean, everyone needs what they need.
They're customers, man. I appreciate them.
Right.
So that's what this community is serving. But I went, you know what? We've all heard of book clubs.
Sure.
I'm going to start a quasi podcast club where podcasters get together, listen to the same episode.
Right.
We come together once a week and talk about the production.
Oh, I would love to hear that conversation.
So self-serving, people are going to be suggesting podcasts that aren't on my radar, and I can then go, and not just take my feedback, but the group's feedback and make an episode for the show. But a different way to listen to a podcast, and again, with the same mechanism in there where they can have takeaways to improve their own. So,
are you on Good Pods?
I am.
That sounds like an idea that you should work with them on. Like get them to help you promote that. You know what I mean? Because if you have
that's a great suggestion.
Book of the Month Club, because they don't really do much to help indie podcasters. They should do something helpful. And if you had an actual podcast that was like Book of the Month Club, because they're always ranting about how like we're like Goodreads. Well, shit, help out this Book of the Month Club then, because it's a killer idea. My only fear would that everyone would copy it and steal it, but I don't even know if that's a bad thing as long as they're doing it well. Yeah, that's a killer idea. How many people do you think will participate each week?
You know, I don't know. It's one of my paid groups, but it's only $20 a year, and it's honestly just there to help offset the cost of Skylar.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I appreciate that people charge for things. We were talking about this, what a super fan is, or like what is even a fan. If you're trying to have, you got 1,200 people on a Facebook group and you want to move them to a private thing, and you want to charge $1 a month, well, that's the $1 a month isn't for you really. It's just like to assure that they're a real person. You know, it adds a whole different layers. It's a human with a credit card that wants to be here. There's 3 layers that you've already wiped out the yahoos from Facebook. So charging a minimal amount, I don't think is horrible, especially if you're giving so much value back like that and coming up with creative ideas. And again, it's not just, hey, we have a website. You're building activities for the community. A community really isn't much if there isn't anything to do. So coming together each week and like, hey, let's listen to this podcast, because that would be, there was a great public access TV show in the San Francisco Bay Area where they did something similar, but it was with restaurants. They bring three viewers together. Each one would pitch their favorite restaurant. All 3 would go to the 3's restaurants, and they would come back with the host, and they would comment on the other people's restaurants and what they had. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. But this sounds like the podcast version, similar of that. Or actually, that would be an extension. We got 3 podcasts. I'm going to listen to yours and yours and yours. You listen to these, and let's all talk a bunch of smack. But not smack. It just it would have to be, in my mind, kind of like a roast show. Because sometimes hard things need to be said, but they should be said with humor.
Yeah. So I intend to record them. I'm not sure if I'm going to repurpose it as a podcast or take excerpts and put it into, the webinars or the instructionals I do inside the community. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a good time.
Totally.
And I think it can help validate some of my opinions, or more importantly, teach me how to look and listen to things a little differently.
Exactly. Like open your eyes to your blind spots. It's my favorite thing, are blind spots, because we don't know they're blind spots. People are like, what are your blind spots? People ask. And I'm like, how the fuck would I know? They're blind. I currently cannot see them.
But back to the goth.
Yeah, the goth story.
So Linz and I are doing the show together. And I don't know if he picked it for me. I think, anyway, I'm listening to a podcast, and the host is goth, and this was on being goth. What does being goth mean?
I love that. I'd like to hear this.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to the episode, because I'm like, I just wasn't looking forward to it. I actually started, and I'm not in the right frame of mind to be objective right now, so I need to delay this task, because I want to be fair. Towards the end of it, I literally thinking to myself, holy shit, I'm goth without the black garb.
That's what I was thinking. Right?
Dude, 2 minutes later on the show, she says, you probably think you're goth now. I'm like, how did she know? It was a really awesome podcast, number 1, and number 2 episode for me to have consumed at that stage in time.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love that. I always wonder, like, what am I? What am I really? I shave my head off and I look intentionally like vague so people can't tell what I am, but that's because I don't know. I drift around like, maybe I'm goth. What am I?
Do you ever want to know?
Say again? No. Yeah, I don't. I like being curious, and honestly, it's kind of fun, because if I change my shirt, anything, I can go to a different place and they think I'm one of them. That's the most fascinating thing. I'm like, they think I'm one of them. Cool. And then they start talking and they say stuff that I'm like, I've never heard people talk like that at all, ever. For good or bad. It doesn't really matter. Just all across the country, shaved head white guys fit in pretty good. They're like,
especially here in Orange County.
Oh, yeah. I used to live in downtown LA for a while, but now I am in Oklahoma City.
Nice.
I can't find people who don't look like me. No, I'm joking. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, Lynn's moved to Tulsa. That's where he's at now.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's touring with his band. They're all over the country, but.
Yeah, being in the middle is helpful. Like geographically in the middle, it's pretty cool. The Tulsa, here's what I found out. So being a Californian from all my life, the Tulsa OKC thing is very much like San Francisco, LA. It's like, oh. If we had sports teams, we'd be bitter rivals. We're just semi-bitter rivals right now.
And you grew up in Concord or spent time in Concord in the Bay Area?
Yeah, I grew up Walnut Creek, Concord, Pleasant Hill, and then I moved to San Francisco, and then eventually moved to Los Angeles.
Okay. I spent, what was it, 3 months at Mare Island at the Naval Station.
Oh, yeah. That's where my grandma lived out there in Vallejo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, we had some good times in Vallejo, I can tell you that.
I can imagine, especially over there, because the Navy was all protected out in that section. Like, nobody fucked with the Navy at Mare Island.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
It was a good time. And then San Francisco. Do you know the Irish Bank?
Sure, yeah.
Love that. Every time I'm in Frisco, that's stop number one, and it's my last stop on the way to the airport. I love the Irish Bank.
Oh, man. Yeah. No, everything's changed. It's actually cleaner, apparently, now. It's cleaned up. It's something like all the city has been washed astray. Just clean. Wow. It's weird. I lived in the Tenderloin, and it was poop on the sidewalks like people were talking about.
Yeah.
Wild. We live in wild. I'm not even going to say that. We don't live in wild times, because I remember when I was a kid, those were wild times. Every time is a wild time if you open your eyes to the wildness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely.
Hey, so how do you pick episodes for feed drops? Like if a listener listening to this, we get a lot of podcasters that are interested in these type of things listening to this show. Do you accept outside submissions? I imagine, like, being in the music industry before, I just get inundated with submissions all the time, and it kind of gets, I can't even tell what's good anymore anyway. You get like dead ears, as they call it. Like, I just can't tell if it's good or not. But is there a way for podcasters to submit to feed drops?
Yeah, so feeddrops.com's taking you to our Substack. In the right-hand side menu, you can submit. That's how Reena and I met.
Oh, yeah, I listened to your episode. I listened to your episode of Reena's podcast episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
What'd you think? Was I fair?
Totally fair. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, you were completely fair all up and down. Like, that's when I said I didn't discern that you left off below sevens. So I'm like, oh, yeah, these are all good podcasts. Yeah, this is great. How do you find so many good podcasts? So it sounds like you only include the ones that are fit for consumption, I guess. Isn't that a good way to say it?
I've listened to more podcasts that I've not done an episode on than I've listened to ones I've done episodes on.
What do you think the ratio is? So that means you've listened to more podcasts.
I'm surprised to hear that.
I'm not. Because, well, no, all he's saying is he's listened to more under 70% than over 70%. And that makes sense. I'm not even saying, because a lot of people who might submit are probably the newest people who are trying to run and gun. Let's get up there and go. I got to submit to all the things. So he might just be getting a lot of new people, where a lot of old school people who just like the craft are like, I don't need to submit for some shit. So, I mean, it's a weird dichotomy of who's submitting to these type of things. So I would like to get a more wide range, but that's pretty wild. So anyway, so go to your website, feeddrops.com, go up to the upper right corner. Substack.
Right. People can submit.
Yeah.
My daughter's recommended show she listens to, which is cool for me because it's a different age, different genres, different demographics. And I've done a few of those. I hunt and peck. If I see a new show, I'll, add it to the list.
What attracts you to when you're looking for new shows? Is it artwork? Is it a name? Like, what's the first thing that's like, okay, let me look deeper.
Episode title.
Episode title. Have you detected a lot of AI generated titles now? Is that driving you crazy? Could you like human ones? Do you like misspellings? Is there a certain format that catches your eye?
Yeah, no. I mean, I want something short and descriptive.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
And
thinking like song titles are my favorite way to make a title for an episode. Make it,
absolutely.
or I used to make them, what do I call it? My show descriptions were haiku.
That that would be cool.
Just fun. Yeah, it was just something to do. Oh, geez, I
How
didn't
many
even,
haiku show descriptions have you written?
probably a dozen back there. And then I just changed the whole podcast to something else because I'd made several mental health podcasts, and the issue became what you focus on grows. So if you're doing a mental health podcast, all your guests are mental. They all got problems. They all want to dump on you. But since you opened up the door and said, hey, this is a show where you can come dump on the mic, well, you're the recipient of the dump. So you got to be really careful on what label you decide to wear, especially as a podcaster. And this goes back to which avatar you're going to drive around in the world today as. If you're going around as a mental health podcaster, guess what? You're going to surround yourself with mentally ill people by design, really. So, yeah, I think it's important to pick that.
We did a show on Sjogren's syndrome. Which
What's
is
that? I know how to spell it because I've seen the word in my head. But what is the condition?
It is a autoimmune. 4 million Americans have it. 80% are female, and your immune system is attacking your moisture-producing glands. Eyes,
wow.
And it got to the point to where the host is like, this is all I think about. She was diagnosed with it.
Oh my goodness.
She's like, I need a break, and that break's been 5 years now, but that show is still 1,000 downloads a month and hasn't produced in 5 years because people are constantly getting diagnosed with Sjogren's.
That is a great example of what we were talking about a couple episodes ago called a zombie podcast. Ones that are not produced anymore but still live anytime you reanimate it simply by listening to it. There's a cool festival in October in Houston for podcasters that's going to be zombie themed at a funeral museum. So listen to some episodes about that. But that sounds wild because zombie podcasts and podcasts like that, like you just mentioned, thousands of downloads later, also very valuable because AI is not making that. A human made that. In the future, we'll appreciate raw, organic human tone and audio. It's kind of like when people started using Pro Tools in the music studios instead of organic instruments. It's that same vibe. You can kind of like, oh, that's Pro Tools, or oh, that's AI. I mean, we tolerate it, but in your back of your mind, it's like, it's kind of fake.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I mean, title's the first thing. Show art to me is like, it is what they want their listener to see. It's this.
Wait, do you rate show art on feed drops?
I don't.
Yeah, you should do that. Because people love the visual.
That would be interesting.
They do, but I just don't put a lot of stock in the visual, to be honest with you.
Huh. Okay.
It's interesting.
That is interesting because a lot of listeners have podcasts, and I bet they put a lot of time and effort spending hours on Canva trying to figure it out. Oh, is the font just right? Wild.
But you know what's interesting, and Reena, I hope you say cool.
She will. She will
did
now.
A bunch of graphics for social media, and the episode I have a phone mock-up, and the episode that I have pulled up is the episode I reviewed of yours.
Oh,
your show art. It was that animated, almost genie in a bottle-ish. I'm like, this is just pretty cool, and I want that. I'm promoting feed drops, but that's the episode that I reviewed for that episode. And I'm like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it wasn't Canva. I actually worked with a friend of mine who is a
very
cartoonist.
Organic. Yeah, organic, very colorful, a nice balance of colors on your art, Reena, for Better Call Daddy. Also, that artist looks like they would do murals on the sides of buildings. That's kind of like a very specific style. I bet if I saw that style somewhere else on your artwork, I would recognize that artist. Yeah. So, but that's interesting, Brian, that you go through episode title, not even show title.
No, episode title.
Because you appreciate the immediacy. You know you're about to get into that topic as opposed to, well, I don't give a care what the title of the podcast is unless they're talking about something interesting. Is that kind of the thought going on?
It is. And the one cool thing about doing this is it's forced me to listen to content I normally wouldn't have sought out. I'm I'm not into fiction. If I'm doing something, I want to learn.
Yeah.
And I've listened to some shows that are being built for entertainment, not necessarily lessons or teaching. And that's been a really cool thing that I've got to experience. And right now, my focus is trying to get a wide breadth across category, because on Good Pods, I have the top 5 podcasts we reviewed list, but I want to do that I want to build a list for category. So top 5 business, top 5,
right?
Whatever coming from feed drops. So I'm kind of trying to go wide right now, build up the inventory of reviewed shows.
Do you use any particular tools to help you sort out maybe episode titles? I'm not sure about what AI is available, but it'd be cool if I found a podcast about XYZ topic and I could just do a search across all platforms for podcasts with that topic. I don't think that exists, but how do you do your searching? Is it just scroll? Just get in and start scrolling? What do you do?
Yeah, I use multiple platforms because Spotify's promoting their stuff and Apple's promoting whichever, gamified show was played. Spreaker has their list that you have to have X amount of downloads to be in that top banner. And so by switching platforms, I get the best of lists.
Yeah.
And not that I'm cherry picking from the best of. I like to dive deep.
Yeah, sure.
And let's go 6 pages into a search.
There you go.
And start looking, because these are shows that nobody's finding. It was an article I wrote on Substack where I talked about 5 podcasts who I will review eventually, but phenomenal shows, the content, the sound production, never heard of them.
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why aren't these?
This is the thing, dude. This is just like the music business again. There's so many great bands, or were, I don't know now, but back in the day when people had band music and full real instruments all across the garages of America, there were so many great bands we will never ever hear because corporations that spend the money want a sure bet. Basically, they want it proven ahead of time. So in the case of podcasts, the sure bet is a celebrity, right? Bring them in.
Absolutely.
So, that's great. So what you're really hitting on is discoverability, or whatever the people are always complaining about. The whole reason Good Pods claims to exist, you're really doing it in a audio format.
Yeah, and it's funny because on the Feed Drops art, it's a discovery podcast. So we're doing this to help podcasters, but I also doing this to help people discover shows they might not have discovered.
Yeah, I think that should be emphasized. In fact, we're emphasizing it right now, that Feed Drops is as much a discovery tool as it is a ratings or review show. Because in fact, when I think of a review show, I'm thinking of somebody giving me their opinion, like ranting, talking some bullshit, whatever. Your review is objective. So to me, it's like a ratings thing. And also the discoverability, because I just realized your episodes are short. Like I just let my YouTube playlist scroll, which is weird. I normally don't listen to podcasts on YouTube. I just happen to be watching YouTube, and I'm like, shit, I got to talk to Brian pretty soon. Let's listen to some of his episodes. But I ran through like a half an hour, super easy, and I think I might have hit 4 episodes in a half an hour, right? So they're pretty quick, and that's a great way to discover. So I listened to Reena's, and then I just kept going down the others. And like you, I also jumped on ones that had interesting titles. Like, I don't care about that.
I have one suggestion for you. Did you know that Monica Lewinsky has a podcast? I would love you to review that one.
So, you know what? I will. For you, because you've asked, I will. Let me make a note. The first episode I did under this new format was Gavin Newsom's This Is Gavin podcast. Yeah,
I saw that. I didn't listen to it, but what, just off the cuff, do you recall, was his podcast any good? I'm sure it's slick and Hollywood produced, so the quality's probably okay.
I chose it because I so wanted to just slam it.
Yeah. Did you? Was it slammable?
I couldn't.
Okay.
Wow.
There were, garnered a little more respect than I had for the governor, number one. Number two, there were times when you should have shut that conversation down and moved on to the next. That was probably my biggest complaint with that show. And then I'm still listening because it's like a flipping 4-hour episode. The Sean Ryan podcast. I don't consume his content regularly. I consume because I want to hear what the guest has to say. And Newsom was just on that show. And he kind of let him run a little wild in the beginning with his political views. But then they kind of got into Gavin as a human, and I garnered even a little more respect for the guy. And I couldn't hate the show, and he got a decent rating. He's probably going to get knocked out of that top 5 list. It wasn't, it wasn't
stellar.
It was higher than 7. We know that.
Yeah.
But there were things he could have tightened up for sure. Audio quality was great. It's I think iHeart's producing it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Has some involvement with it.
And he's well spoken. He's been talking in public for 20, 30 years now.
He doesn't use a teleprompter.
Oh yeah, I believe that. Yeah. Hey, not to be controversial, but are your podcasts, I'm assuming, are all audio podcasts, right?
My episodes for feed drops?
Just generally, of all the people you work with, do you do both types, like audio and video, or video? Do you do these Zoomcast type things, or do you do a full set with live people? Like, what's the range of podcasts you produce or work with?
Yeah, so we used to have a studio with 2 stages.
Yeah.
However, the remote tools like this, Riverside,
great.
They've gotten so good. My local customers I'm just going to dial in because they didn't want the commute. And, I had a guy 3 blocks away that's like, let's just do it remote today.
I would prefer sometimes because getting sound right in a room together sometimes is not as easy as people think.
Yeah, oh, no, it's not. But we had it pretty dialed in. Again, we had 2 stages. Not the studio I started in. I moved 3 years into it. Mm-hmm. But this is what I do full time. I have 2 people on the production team, and then I have 2 independent contractors who are both disabled veterans. And to answer your question, no, it's up to the client whether they want audio or video. We produced over 200 episodes for 511, and they were audio only. Mm-hmm. And it was when I first started, I'm going to be audio only. That's what podcasting is. I was trying to take this hard line, and people are asking for video, and I'm like, well, YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine, and having something. And I tested with that Sjogren show.
Right.
We were taking the audio, throwing up a still image, MP4ing it, sticking it on YouTube. At one point in time, we had more consumption on YouTube than we did on audio.
Especially if that's the case. If you I use Spreaker, and this is an option. You check a box, and it automatically sends some shit to YouTube. That's free. That's easy. And if people on YouTube accidentally watch it, great. Although, however, I typically don't like to have to prepare each time to be on video and edit video with the horsepower of the computer. I mean, there's so much more exponential resources required for video. So I just, for simplicity, opted for audio. What is the What's the request rate ratio audio to video coming in from the typical clients these days?
More people want video now because I'm going to be the next Joe Rogan on YouTube, and they want the shorts for TikTok and Instagram. I mean, LinkedIn right now, the business shows, video, because we want the shorts for LinkedIn, vertical video. Huge right now.
Makes me think I should push this record button right here in front of me.
This is what I suggest. If you can record audio and video, record both. It doesn't mean you have to use it.
Well, and I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot here because my whole dedication to audio typically means we don't have this video on at all anyway. We don't see each other. My ultimate kind of audio recording is like listening to an old-fashioned phone call with a girl on my bed in 7th grade in the 80s. It's that. It's like the theater of the mind. So I'm kind of ruining it by me being able to see you guys right now because I can see your expressions. I know when to stop talking and etc. It's different audio only, for sure. No, I'm just cheap. I haven't paid for Riverside fully, so I don't want to use up all the hours. But yeah, I think running video here, especially because all of our signals have been killer today, all of our heads are about the same size. I would ask Reena, and doing the mental health podcast for so long, a lot of people just are. I wanted to have as guests, but they were self-conscious about being on video, so that was kind of limiting. But we're talking about something different now with you. You run a business, and people are coming to you asking for things. So I think that's fascinating and makes me want to open a business here in Oklahoma City where I just hang out a shingle and I will record your dumbass on video and make you a cool podcast. My theory is most businesses have about 3 episodes in them. They have the founder's story. They have what we're doing now and what we're doing in the future. And then after that, they kind of well, we don't really know what to say. I'm like, that's cool. Just clip all of these up and share them for the next year. You're fine.
I add to that. Most companies, if they don't have a public FAQ,
Yeah.
they have frequently asked questions.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm like, each question is an episode. And twofold, you're getting a piece of content, number one. Number two, you're introducing yourself, your voice, you to a potential customer and answering one of the questions they may have, shortening your sales cycle.
Dude, I'm going to do that. That's such a cheat code. How much do you think somebody in an average city in America, I know you're in Southern California, things are a little pricier, but how much do you think somebody could charge for doing that type of work? Not you. I'm not saying you. I'm not asking how much you make. I'm just generically asking.
I'm going to be completely transparent. I do not have published pricing because somebody comes to me, I want a podcast. Great. How frequent? How long?
All different.
Interviewing guests. And then I made this mistake. Great. Here's your audio file. Well, where's the video? That's not a fucking podcast.
I'm like, what?
You asked for a podcast.
Words have meanings. Yeah.
So, and again, I'll adjust pricing for solo and entrepreneurs who have an awesome story and they need my help.
Same. I have a design company and a sign company.
Yeah.
If I like you, if you're cool, if I could tell you're going to make it and you actually will bring more business back without promising it, those kind of people, I'm like, yeah, I have faith in you. This will work. This is a worthy gamble of my time and resources.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, are you a corporation or are you a solopreneur?
Yeah.
A corporation can fit that into their marketing budget. And also to add on to what you were saying, Brian, is this just audio? Is this 30 minutes? Is this 60 minutes?
How much editing do I have to do?
How much editing? How much restating? Does it have to be scripted? Does that have to go through approvals? Am I going to have to make edits?
Yeah. Can I use AI? Like, that's a thing nowadays.
Can I use AI? Mm-hmm. Am I coming up with the titles? Am I coming up with the questions? Am I sitting on the recording? Or are you just sending me the recording and I'm editing it? There's so many tweaks.
Yeah. That, for sure. Everything's custom.
We did a job for an offshore client where we had to provide the host. We had to put together a hit list of, we think this supports the mission of what you want us to accomplish for you. Choose who you would like us to chase to interview. I mean, we did everything. And then it was narrative style. So we would do a 15-minute tech check one day. Mm-hmm. We would schedule an hour and a half for an interview and get about an hour of video, audio out of that. And this was audio only, but we recorded the video hoping to upsell them. And then we would edit, come up with a story arc, put the pieces in the right order to tell the story we wanted told. A second recording session with the host doing the narration, tying it all back together.
The host that you found.
It was huge. And no, that's not a $2,000 a month podcast. That's a $3,000 episode podcast.
Right.
And we were fortunate enough to have 2 seasons with them before they shut down their U.S. operations. And
that's a good run.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I think so too.
And it pushed us. It pushed us creatively. It helped us define some workflows we need.
Yeah. Yep.
And now it's just rinse and repeat. Can we do that? Oh, yeah, we've done that before. No problem.
Yep. No, that's fantastic. Yeah, I like these ideas that you're coming up with here. Because I don't want to work anymore. I just like podcasting. I like the small business community, which I work in. I'm like, what can I do that's not climbing a ladder anymore? That kind of thing. But like the frequently asked questions, a lot of the people that are coming into our design firm, for example, are young, service oriented. They're roofers, contractors, haulers, whatever. But all these guys are like super green on their digital part. They know Instagram and they're supposed to use Instagram, but simple little things like, well, what are you putting on Instagram? How about you sitting like this, like you see the people, like put the mic in there, pretend like you're talking to somebody and, hey, I'm on a podcast. I think they would love that.
I had a customer that said, your prices are too high, but I'm going to give you 1 month and my downloads need to double. And I said, I can't guarantee you that. I said, in 30 days, I can hope we get somewhere between 15 and 20% more downloads.
And that's a lot. I've worked in marketing and I know metrics. That's a huge jump.
And we took over her social and she fought tooth and nail. That's not the way I like my post to look. Well, you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. You've hired us to help you grow.
One of my favorite phrases. Yep.
And just every single post we put out, she had a problem with. And and it was just, she was one of those customers where when this 30 days is over, I'm going to part ways because it's just not worth the drama. 36% more downloads in the first 30 days working with us, and she fired us because it wasn't 50. And I'm like, well, sorry we couldn't hit your metric. Good luck.
Yeah, right.
You know, I'm like, I just can't. What do you do with a customer like that?
All you can do is educate them, and like you did, just set them loose. Like, I can't help you because this is not a helpable thing. It's like, if you don't know how the numbers work, and a 10, 20, 30% increase is huge in a month. Putting arbitrary download numbers because you just saw a friend, I want 1,000. Where does that come from? That's like saying, hey, I want a steak dinner. Let's go buy some oranges. It's mind-boggling. I cannot think of an analogy that's just so out of whack. I'm like, what? So I appreciate that you're able to set boundaries and constraints and keep them in check that way.
Two things on this. One, for the business side of it.
Yeah.
Hey, your invoice is in the rears. I need you to pay this before I continue work. But we're recording tomorrow. Yeah, we're not because you haven't paid last month's invoice.
Yeah. Have you seen the Gantt chart? You see how project management works?
And they say, when have I never not paid you? That would be today. And they're just like, oh, wah. And you just have to be, I'm sorry, I don't work for free. I don't have terms,
Yeah.
And then with podcasters coming in, I have a title, I have art, and this is what I want to do, and I'm going to be the next Joe Rogan. And I'm not slamming Joe Rogan. That's just everybody's mindset.
Yeah, of course.
And I say, great, what's your mission statement? And they just stop. And I'm like, you need a mission statement. We need to define some KPIs before we talk about production.
Yeah.
How do we know what this investment of time and money is working or not working?
Mm-hmm.
And some people are a little upset about that, but they do the work. I know they're committed. The ones who are like, no, I know what I'm doing. I don't need that. Great. My competitor's down the street. His name's Rob. Good luck.
Dude, we do. We need this. This is like going on a trip with a map and your partner is not willing to share the fucking destination. Like, how am I supposed to know? It's like, oh, don't worry. I'm like, well, how am I going to know if you get us lost? Don't worry. I'm like, nah, I need some guiding point. But a mission statement doesn't even have to be that big or complex, but it requires the thought process, knowing that I'm starting here and that's where we are going. And if you can't convey that to your help or to the resources that you're working with, it's not going to be very effective.
Absolutely. And I tell them, this is an internal document. This isn't your podcast description. Mm-hmm. This is something to keep you in check. I use Notion. I love Notion. Mm-hmm. Project management. I have so much inside of Notion. But across every single page, it says why. And I can click the toggle and it expands. And it's a picture of my dream camper van.
Oh, nice.
Open road and my wife. And that's my why. Dude, that's what's motivating to get up and do the best job I can do every single day, because I don't want to live under a wood roof anymore. I want to be out in the world, experiencing life, not helping people talk about it.
Yeah. Brian, do you want to pitch anything? Like, you've been a great storyteller and we've got a lot of great information from you, but do you want to like straight pitch anything?
You know what? I appreciate that. And this I started including in my recent episodes, and I call it a PSA, a podcast service announcement. Whether you're listening to this show or any show, take the 45 seconds to go rate and review that show. Leave a few kind words or constructive criticism on whatever podcast you're consuming. It means so much to us, those creating the content, number one, and number two, it helps the shows get discovered and in front of more eyes. And that's the only thing I want to pitch every time I pitch is, if you're consuming content, give it a rate and review.
I'm going to clip that and use that every time now, so I don't have to be the one saying it. It's just going to be Brian saying it every time. I will share that with you too, Reena. We'll both be sharing Brian's PSA on
I was thinking that. I was
episode.
like, there's the perfect clip.
Yeah, I love that because that's what I want to say too. But I have low self-esteem, so I'm not going to say, hey.
You just said that well.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, dude, say it for me. Yeah, that's awesome.
I've got some produced audio with some. It starts off with a beep beep, like a.
A true
That's
PSA.
Awesome. Send that too.
Yep.
Send it your way.
That's awesome, man. That's a great hangout, dude. I really appreciate you coming on.
And now back to the wall.